I updated my Minecraft Jujutsu Kaisen Addon by adding Yuji Itadori. Before we get to that, please help me get to 20,000 subscribers by clicking that subscribe button if you're a fan of Jujutsu Kaisen. Before I get into Yuji's kit, I need to introduce the new combat mechanics coming alongside Yuji. You now have two new percentage counters above your hotbar, output and fatigue. Let's first discuss output. Output is what decides a couple of things. It decides how fast your cursed energy regenerates, so the higher it is, the faster you regain lost cursed energy. It decides how strong effects and abilities are, like your strength, jump, speed, and health boost, as well as your dash distance. It also decides how strong the effects of reverse curse technique is, the damage of most of your curse techniques and domain expansion, and finally it decides how fast your fatigue disappears. So to simplify, the higher your output, the better your overall performance. Okay? Okay. Moving on to the next lesson. Let's now discuss fatigue. Fatigue is the opposite of output because of a few reasons. 1. Fatigue starts from 0% and slowly builds up depending on the techniques you cast. Each technique adds a different amount of fatigue, and you can get the most amount of fatigue after your domain expansion closes. Number 2, fatigue scales technique cooldowns. The higher it is, the longer your cooldowns become. Number 3, fatigue also scales cursed energy cost. Same with cooldowns, the higher the fatigue, the more cursed energy a technique will cost. Number 4, finally, upon reaching 100% fatigue, you'll reach what we call burnout. Burnout disables all your cursed techniques until your fatigue goes below 100%, plus an extra 8-second delay before you get your cursed techniques back. So to simplify this one, keep it as close to 0% as you can by being mindful of what techniques you cast and when. The next combat mechanic we'll discuss is directly related to the first two, since this will be responsible for greatly raising them or reducing them. A black flash. Landing a black flash is rare. There is only a 1% chance of successfully landing one after a punch, and doing so increases that person's output by 20% after each successful black flash. Not only does it boost your output, it also completely wipes out your fatigue. You can chain black flashes up to a total of 4 times, with each successful trigger increasing the chances of the next. Here's the breakdown of the odds. As for your opponent, getting hit with a black flash reduces your output by 10% and adds fatigue. Now to balance this, I added the ability to use an alternate form of reverse curse technique. It's a high-risk, high-reward maneuver where you sacrifice 50% of your max cursed energy reserve plus fatigue cost scaling to reduce your fatigue to below 100% and bring your output back up. This would only provide you with temporary regeneration and healing effects with a higher cooldown that also scales with fatigue. Here's the numbers for those curious. If you want to learn about these new features again, I added a new info and guides section in the character select book. It includes information about the combat mechanics, character guides, as well as information about the add-on. Another major addition I added into this update is the proper physical domains. Instead of just summoning a giant ball and calling it a day, I made domains actually exist in the physical world, or at least closed barrier domains. Now then, the moment you've all been waiting for. Yuji Itadori's kit. Yuji specializes in hand-to-hand combat, and most of his techniques rely on melee attacks. First up, his passive skills. Yes, I added passive skills. His first passive is Vessel of the King. It's a passive ability that enhances his overall physical ability. This passive has 3 effects. The first effect is left-right goodnight. Yuji's punches have an added damage of 18 points. Those 18 points scale with output, so the higher it is, the more damage Yuji's normal punches deal to their targets. The second effect is called Built Different. You are immune to the weakness effect, which means your damage remains untouched, and you are also immune to poison. Just like Gojo and Sukuna, your speed, jump height, and dash distance also scale with output, but you have a higher cap compared to the other two. Keep in mind though that Yuji's speed has a short delay before kicking in, so you need a bit of a running start before he can speed up. The third and final effect is Plot Armor. I know, right? If Yuji's health drops below 2 hearts, he gains 80% damage reduction, a health boost, and instant health temporarily. See why I called it that? This effect has a cooldown of 1 minute and 8 seconds. You'll know you have plot armor ready if your bar has these surrounding it, or if you manage to read the chat message. As for Yuji's second passive, yes, he has a second passive, it's called the One Blessed by the Sparks of Black. Earlier, I said that you only have a 1% chance of landing the first Black Flash. It will remain true for everyone, except Yuji Itadori. He has a 6% chance of landing the initial hit, and whilst everyone can only chain up to 4 before the odds reset back to 1%, Yuji can chain up to 8 before his odds reset back to 6%. Now that we've covered his passive skills, time for his actual techniques. The first is Manji Kick. Upon activating, if an attacker punches Yuji within 2.5 seconds, Yuji throws a Manji Kick, knocking them back and stunning them. The damage and distance scales with output. It has a base cooldown of 18 seconds that scales with fatigue, an active time of 2.5 seconds, with a skill type of a defense or counter, and a stun. Divergent Fist. Upon activating, Yuji wraps his fists in cursed energy, and his next punch not only deals enhanced melee damage, but a follow-up impact deals additional damage, knocking back the target hit by it. The second impact damage and distance scales with output. The cooldown of this technique is shorter if you actually land the Divergent Fist, allowing you to chain them easily. It has a base cooldown of 11 seconds if you don't punch, an active time of 7 seconds, with a skill type of a melee buff. Toe Cleave. Activating this technique enhances Yuji's next 5 melee attacks. Each attack reduces the opponent's output by 1%. Its damage scales with output, and it deals extra damage to opponents who rely on their soul, eventually. Wink wink. It has a base cooldown of 26 seconds with a skill type of a melee buff and enemy debuff. Blood Spit. He's able to sacrifice a tiny part of his HP to spit out a blood projectile. If it hits a target, it blinds them temporarily, which then gives Yuji the option to detonate the blood that's stuck on the target to blind them again. If it hits a surface, he can detonate it from there, and the targets that are close enough would be blinded. It has a base cooldown of 18.5 seconds, an active time of 8 seconds if it hits a surface, otherwise it lasts indefinitely upon hitting a target, with a skill type of a mid-ranged enemy debuff. Finally, Yuji's Domain Expansion. It has no confirmed name as of writing the script of this video, so I asked what my community wanted to call it in a poll in the Discord. You should join, by the way. I post and talk a lot there. Also, if you like what I do here, do consider subscribing. Small channels like mine need all the help it can get. Drop a like, tell your friends, and if you really want to show your appreciation, I have a Ko-fi page that accepts donations. Thank you very much. Yuji's Domain Expansion. Final station. Upon manifesting, the targets caught are taken to a train station. Here, they are given the option to go north and become anew, or head south and remain as they are. Going north basically means you wish to pass on and possibly reincarnate eventually. Going south, you want to remain as you are and fight. When the time expires, you are pulled into a snowy area to throw hands with Yuji. Each of his attacks are imbued with Soul Cleave, so as the fight goes on, your output becomes lower and lower. It has a base cooldown of 37.5 seconds with the highest cursed energy cost, and that does not scale with fatigue, and a skill type of an AoE insta-kill or an AoE debuff / melee buff. Currently, his domain can clash with Gojo and Sukuna, but I'll remove that feature in the following updates. That's why I labeled this update a beta. Obviously, there might be some bugs. If you encounter any, please report it in the comments, or even better, join the Discord and report it in the Bug Reports channel so I can keep track. That's the best way to do it. There's a new message that appears upon loading into your world. Unlimited Void keeps its affected targets temporarily stunned even after the domain closes. Simple Domain now has particles upon being activated. So anyway, this has been Jujutsu Craftin Beta 1.4. If you liked it, why not subscribe to help support these projects? Leave a like so I know you want me to keep updating this add-on. And why not leave a comment telling me what you think about this update? Join us on Discord if you want early access to sneak peeks and previews. Coffee page is up for donations if you're feeling very generous. Download links should be in the description. If they're not, just wait a little bit. And that's pretty much all from me. Happy holidays to everyone. See ya.